Welcome to another deep dive. You guys sent in an excerpt from the Vishnu Purana, and I gotta say, I'm pretty excited to get into this one with Ya.
Yeah, it's a pretty fascinating text.
It really is. I mean, this ancient Hindu text, it's part of a larger collection of sacred scriptures, right? And it just seems to cover everything, like cosmology, mythology, philosophy.
It really does touch on so many different aspects of existence, I guess.
Yeah, it's really incredible, and we could spend hours talking about all the different topics it brings up.
Definitely.
But today, we're going to try to focus on one specific concept, and that is Manvantaras.
Yes, the Vishnu Purana has a very unique perspective on time and creation that's really different from how we typically think of it in a linear way.
Yeah, this is definitely not your typical, tick-tock clock kind of time, right?
Yeah.
So what are these Manvantaras all about?
Well, think of them as like these vast cosmic epochs, almost like chapters in the universe's story.
Okay, so huge chunks of time.
Yeah, and each Manvantara is ruled over by a Manu who acts as the progenitor of humankind for that era.
Okay, so like the Adam and Eve of that particular time period.
Exactly, and then to add another layer, each Manvantara is further divided into 4 yugas, and these represent a cycle of, I guess you could say, spiritual and moral evolution.
Okay, so it's not just about these long stretches of time, it's about how humanity changes within those time periods too.
Exactly. It's really fascinating to think about how our understanding of morality and spirituality might evolve over such long periods of time.
Yeah, especially since the Vishnu Purana says we're actually in the 7th Manvantara right now.
That's right.
7th, wow. Okay, so there's a whole history of Manvantaras that have already happened.
The Vishnu Purana actually describes a total of 14 Manvantaras.
14. Oh, wow. Okay, so 14 epic chapters in the universe's story.
Yeah, and each one has its own unique characteristics and rulers and key events that kind of shape it.
Okay, so where do we even begin with all of this?
Well, why don't we start at the beginning with the first Manvantara, ruled by Swayambhuva Manu. Swayambhuva, I love that name, the self-born Manu.
It's a fitting name for the first one, right?
It's like the universe is being born in this first epoch.
And during Swayambhuva's reign, the devas, the celestial beings, they were known as the yamas, and they were led by their king Indra, who was named Yagna.
Okay, so we've got the Manu, the devas, and their king Indra. Anyone else we should know about in this first Manvantara?
Ah, yes. We can't forget the Saptarishis, the 7 sages who guide and teach during each Manvantara.
Oh, right, the wise ones.
Exactly. And for this first Manvantara, the Saptaris were Marichi Atri, Angiris Pulaha, Kratu, Pulastya, and Vashishta.
You know, those names sound familiar. I feel like I've come across them in other Hindu texts before.
Oh, definitely. There's a lot of overlap and interconnection between these stories and concepts.
Yeah, you start to see how it all weaves together into this really intricate tapestry of like cosmic history. Absolutely, and as we go through these Manvantaras, you'll see these connections kind of deepen and reveal even more about the big picture.
Okay, I'm ready for Manvantara number 2. What happens next?
All right, so the second Manvantara was ruled by Swarochisha Manu.
Swarochisha, okay.
And this is where things start to get a little interesting because the devas during this time were called the Paravadas and the Tushitas.
Yeah, okay, new names.
Right, and their king, the Indra, was Vipashat.
So different names, but still following that same structure. Manudevas and Indra.
Exactly. The cosmic order remains consistent even as the players change.
Okay, so who were the 7 sages for this Manvantara? Any familiar names in this group?
For the Swarochisha Manvantara, the Saptarishis were Urja, Stampa, Prana, Vata, Vrishava Nivriti, and Parivarana.
Wow. Okay, so a whole new lineup of wise beings guiding humanity through this era. It's kind of amazing how each Manvantara seems to have its own distinct flavor, its own set of characters and events that give it its own unique identity.
Yeah, that's one of the most compelling things about Hindu cosmology. It recognizes that time isn't just a linear progression. It's more like a cyclical dance, with each cycle bringing its own set of opportunities and challenges.
I love that, a cyclical dance.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep this dance moving. What happens in Manvantara number 3?
All right, the third Manvantara was ruled by Uttama Manu. And during his reign, the Indra was Sushanti. And instead of one group of devas, there were actually 5.
5. Okay, things are getting interesting now.
Right. So these 5 groups were the Suhamasatyas, Japas, Pratadanas, and Vashishtas.
Wow, 5 groups of devas. It makes you wonder about the dynamics between them, right? Was it harmonious, or were there conflicts and power struggles?
That's a great question. Unfortunately, the text doesn't go into detail about the specific interactions between them, but it definitely hints at the complexity of the cosmic order during that Manvantara.
Yeah, I guess that leaves room for our imagination to run wild. What about the Saptarishis for this Manvantara? Any familiar faces?
Well, the seven sages guiding humanity during this period were the seven sons of Vashishta.
Ah, so we're seeing lineages emerge within these cycles.
Right, a passing of wisdom from one generation to the next.
Yeah, it really emphasizes how interconnected these Manvantaras are. It's like each one builds upon the ones that came before it.
And it speaks to the idea that even across vast cosmic timescales, there's a continuity of knowledge and guidance, ensuring that humanity never truly loses its way.
That's a pretty comforting thought. Okay, tell me about Manvantara number 4. What unfolds in this one?
The fourth Manvantara was ruled by Manu. And this one's particularly interesting because it features a king of the Devas Raja Rishi who is said to have performed 100 Ashwamedha yajnas.
Wait, 100 horse sacrifices? That's a lot. What was the significance of performing so many?
Well, the Ashwamedha yajna was a very powerful ritual in ancient India. It was often performed by kings to kind of assert their sovereignty and ensure prosperity for their realm. So performing 100 of them suggests a ruler with some serious ambition and a desire to leave a lasting legacy.
It makes you wonder what kind of impact all those rituals had, not just on his kingdom, but on the cosmic balance as well.
Yeah, it definitely raises some intriguing questions about the interplay between earthly actions and cosmic consequences.
Okay, so tell me about the Devas and Saptarishis during Manu's reign. Were there any other notable changes or patterns emerging?
Well, the Devas during this time were divided into 4 groups: the Suparnas, Harisakyas, and Sudhis.
4 groups, okay.
And each group consisted of 27 devas.
Interesting. So we're seeing different numbers and configurations of devas with each Manvantara. It's like the cosmic structure is constantly evolving and adapting.
Exactly. And the Saptarishis for this Manvantara were Jyotirtharma, Prithukavya, Chaitra, Agivanaka, and Pavara.
Okay, another new set of sages, each bringing their unique wisdom to this era. It seems like change is a constant in these cosmic cycles, yet there's also a sense of order, a recurring pattern that gives structure to this vast and ever-unfolding universe.
Yes, it's a beautiful balance of novelty and tradition, creation, and preservation. And as we delve deeper into the remaining Manvantaras, you'll see how this intricate dance of cosmic forces continues to unfold.
I'm ready for more. Give me Manvantara number 5.
Right, so the fifth Manvantara was ruled by Raivata Manu. During his time, the Indra was Vibhu, and there were 14 groups of devas known as the Amitabhas, Bhuttaryas, Vaikunthas, and Sumedhas.
14 groups. Wow, that's a significant jump from the previous ones. It makes me wonder if there's some correlation between the number of deva groups and like the complexity or maybe the challenges of a particular Manvantara.
It's an interesting observation. It's almost as if the universe is adjusting its structure to meet the needs of each cycle.
Yeah, that's pretty fascinating. What about the Saptarishis guiding humanity during Raivata Manu's reign?
Well, the 7 sages for this Manvantara were Hiranyaroma, Vedasiris, Ritvabahu, Vedabahu Sutama, Parjanya, and Mahamuni.
Okay, so another new lineup of wise beings. I'm starting to see a pattern here. Each Manvantara brings a fresh set of players, so to speak, and yet there's also this sense of continuity with echoes of previous Manvantaras woven into each new cycle.
It's a beautiful tapestry, isn't it? A blend of the old and the new.
It really is. Okay, I can't wait to hear about Manvantara number 6. What makes this one stand out?
So the 6th Manvantara was ruled by Chaksushamanu. And this one is interesting because it featured 5 types of devas, but each group only had 8 members.
Only 8. That's a pretty big difference from the hundreds we saw in the previous Manvantara. What could explain this shift towards smaller deva groups?
It's hard to say for sure, but maybe it signifies a change in the nature of divine power, a move towards greater specialization, or a focus on individual strength rather than just sheer number.
It's like the universe is experimenting with different configurations of power and influence in each Manvantara.
Exactly. And the Saptarishis for this Manvantara were Sumedha, Viraja, Havishman, Uttama, Madhvatinama, and Sahishnu.
Okay, so another new set of sages again. It seems like change is a constant in these cosmic cycles, yet there's also this underlying sense of order, a recurring pattern that gives structure to this vast and ever-unfolding universe.
It really is a remarkable balance, isn't it? Between change and continuity.
It is. And speaking of change, we're about to enter the 7th Manvantara, the one we're currently experiencing.
That's right, the Vaivasvata Manvantara.
Okay, this is where things start to get really personal, right? Because this is our cosmic chapter.
Exactly. But before we jump into our current Manvantara, I think we need a moment to just let all of this information sink in. It's a lot to process.
Yeah, I think you're right. Listeners, join us in part 2, where we'll explore the 7th Manvantara and beyond. All right, welcome back, everybody. So, we just spent the last, however long, talking about the first six Manvantaras.
Billions and billions of years.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I need a little time to process all that. I don't know about you, but my head is kind of spinning.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to take in trying to wrap your mind around these vast stretches of time.
It really is. But we left off at a pretty important point. The seventh Manvantara, the one we're living in right now.
Ah, yes, the Vivasvata Manvantara. It's pretty incredible to think that we're a part of this grand cosmic cycle.
It is. So let's bring this one down. Who's the Manu calling the shots in this Manvantara?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, it's Vivasvata Manu. He's the son of Surya, the sun god.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the Manu of our current Manvantara is the son of the sun god. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the divas in this Manvantara might sound a little more familiar to you. We have the Adityas, the Vasus, and the Rudras. These are all groups that you'll come across in various Hindu myths and stories.
Oh, yeah, I've definitely heard those names before. It's like we're starting to connect the dots between these abstract concepts and the stories that have shaped Hindu thought for centuries.
Absolutely, and the king of the devas in this Manvantara is, it's Indra, known here as Purandara.
Indra, the king of the gods. Always a powerful figure. Sometimes a little unpredictable.
You could say that.
Yeah.
And of course, we can't forget the Saptarishis, the seven sages guiding humanity through this Manvantara.
Right, the wise ones. Okay, who are that this time around?
For the Vivasvata Manvantara, we've got Vashishta, Kashyapa, Atri, Jamadani, Gautama, Vishwamitra, and Bharadvaja.
Wow, okay, those are some serious heavy hitters. I mean, I definitely recognize those names from other Hindu texts. It really shows how these Manvantaras build upon each other. The wisdom and the legacies of the previous cycles influence the ones that follow.
Exactly. It's like this grand relay race of knowledge and guidance passed down from one generation to the next.
I like that. And since we're living in this particular Manvantara, we actually have more insight into the Manu's family, too. Didn't Vivasvata Manu have a bunch of sons?
He did. 10, to be exact.
10 sons. Wow. Any notable figures among them?
Well, one of his sons was Ikshvaku, the ancestor of Lord Rama.
Lord Rama, one of the most beloved and revered figures in Hinduism. That's pretty amazing. His lineage goes all the way back to the beginning of our current Manvantara.
It really highlights the importance of understanding these cyclical patterns. By exploring the past, we gain a deeper appreciation for the present, and maybe even catch a glimpse of what the future might hold.
I love that idea, using the past as a lens to understand the present and the future. It's like having a cosmic roadmap to help us navigate these vast cycles.
Exactly. So we've talked about the first 7 Manvantaras, the ones that have already happened. But you mentioned earlier that the Vishnu Purana describes 14 in total, right?
That's right. Which means there are 7 more to go. 7 future Manvantaras.
7 more chapters in the universe's story waiting to unfold.
Okay, now you've got me really curious. What awaits us in Manvantara number 8?
All right, so the 8th Manvantara is going to be ruled by Savarni Manu, and the Devas, during his reign, are going to consist of the Sutapas, Amitabhas, and Mukhyas. Each group is going to have 20 Devas.
20 Devas in each group. Wow, that's a lot of Devas.
Now,
what could possibly explain such a huge increase?
It's hard to say for sure, but maybe it reflects a period of heightened cosmic activity. Or perhaps there's a need for a greater diversity of divine energies to address the challenges of that particular era.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling to think about the complexities of a Manvantara with that many Devas. And who's the Indra for this future epoch?
The Indra during Savarni Manu's reign is going to be Bali, the son of Virachana.
Hold on, Bali. As in the demon king Bali. The one who was tricked by Vishnu's Vamana avatar.
That's right. It's pretty interesting how roles can change across Manvantaras. Someone who might be considered an antagonist in one cycle could become a leader in another.
It's like our ideas of good and evil aren't as fixed as we think they are.
Exactly. It encourages us to think about karma and rebirth and how actions and consequences can ripple through time. Okay, so who are the Saptarishis that will guide humanity through the 8th Manvantara? The 7 sages for that period are going to be Diptaman, Galava, Rama, Kripa, Ashwatthama, Vyasa, and Shringi.
Wait a minute, Vyasa as in Veda Vyasa.
The very same. It seems his wisdom and knowledge will extend beyond our current Manvantara.
Wow, okay, my mind is officially blown. It's like these Manvantaras aren't just separate chapters. They're all interconnected threads in this grand cosmic tapestry.
It's a beautiful and complex design, isn't it?
It really is. Okay, what about the 9th Manvantara? What can we learn about that era?
The 9th Manvantara is going to be under the rule of Daksha Savarni Manu. The Devas during his time will be divided into 3 groups. the Pavana, Marichigarbha, and Sudharma, each with 121 devas. And their leader, the Indra, will be Adbhut.
Okay, so back to a smaller number of devas, but still a force to be reckoned with. And who are the seven sages guiding humanity in this cycle?
The Saptarishis for the ninth Manvantara are Savana Jitaman, Bhavya Vasu, Medititi Jyotishman, and Satya.
Another new lineup of wise beings. It's incredible to think that each Manvantara brings its own set of challenges and opportunities, but there are always these guiding lights, the Saptaris, to help humanity navigate the changes.
They represent that enduring power of wisdom and the cyclical nature of knowledge. No matter how much things change, that light of enlightenment continues to shine.
Okay, so what about Manvantara number 10? What can you tell us about that one?
The 10th Manvantara will be ruled by Brahma Savarni Manu. During his reign, there will be two groups of devas, the Sudhamas and Vishuddhas, each with 100 members, and their Indra will be Shanti.
Shanti peace. That's a beautiful name for an Indra, especially after some of the more, let's say, assertive Indras we've encountered in previous Manvantaras. Do you think this 10th Manvantara will be a more peaceful time?
It's an interesting thought, isn't it? It definitely suggests that each Manvantara reflects a different aspect of the divine, a different expression of cosmic energy.
So it's not just about repeating cycles, it's about evolving and exploring new possibilities within those cycles. What about the Saptarishis for this Manvantara?
The seven sages guiding humanity during that time will be Havishman, Sukrita, Satya, Trapamurti Nabaga, Abratimaujas, and Satyaketu.
Okay, another impressive group. What about the 11th Manvantara?
The 11th Manvantara will be ruled by Dharma Savarni Manu. During his reign, the devas will be organized into three primary groups: the Vihangamas, Kamagamas, and Nirvana Ruchis, each consisting of 30 devas, and their leader will be Vrisha.
30 devas in each group. Wow, that's a huge number. Do you think the challenges and opportunities will be bigger in a Manvantara with so many devas?
It's definitely something to think about. Maybe the scale and complexity of cosmic events increases as we move further into these future Manvantaras.
It's like the universe keeps upping the ante, creating more intricate and awe-inspiring cycles of existence.
What about the Saptarishis for this 11th Manvantara? Can we trace their lineage back to previous cycles?
Well, the Saptarishis for this Manvantara are Nara Agni Tejasva Pushman, Grini Aruni Havishman, and Anaka. Their names might not sound familiar, but it's possible that they have connections to previous Manvantaras that we just haven't uncovered yet.
Yeah, it makes you want to dive deeper into the genealogy of these stages to see how the wisdom of past cycles might be woven into the fabric of future ones.
It's a great reminder that these Manvantaras aren't isolated events. They're all interconnected chapters in the ongoing story of the universe.
All right, on to Manvantara number 12. What's in store for us in that one? The 12th Manvantara will be ruled by Rudra Savarni Manu. He's actually the son of Lord Shiva. And this era features a unique configuration of devas. There are 5 groups known as the Haritas, Rohitas, Sumanas, Sukarmas, and Sarapas, each consisting of only 10 members, and their Indra will be Ritadama.
Only 10 devas in each group. Wow, that's quite a contrast from the thousands we saw in the 11th Manvantara. What do you think that signifies?
It's hard to say for sure. Maybe it's a shift towards a more focused or specialized use of divine power. Or maybe it's a time when individual devas have more responsibility.
Yeah, it really challenges our assumptions about what it means to be a deva. It's not just about having raw power, it's about fulfilling a specific role and contributing to the cosmic balance.
Exactly. It's important to remember that the significance of devas might change depending on the specific Manvantara and the unique challenges of that time period. Who are the Saptarishis for this 12th Manvantara? The 7 sages guiding this Manvantara are Tapasa Sutpa, Tapomurti Taporati, Tapodviti, Tapodriti, and Tapotana. All names that suggest a strong connection to asceticism and spiritual discipline.
It's interesting how their names all seem to revolve around a similar theme, a focus on inner strength and self-discipline. It makes me wonder if this Manvantara will be all about spiritual growth and introspection.
That's a very astute observation. It reinforces the idea that each Manvantara has its own unique flavor. Okay, we're almost there. There's 2 more to go. Ready for the 13th Manvantara?
Bring it on!
All right, so the 13th Manvantara will be ruled by Ruchi Manu. During his reign, the devas will be grouped into 3 categories: the Sudaramas, Sukarmas, and Sudharmas, each with 333 devas. And the Indra for this period will be Devaspati.
333 devas, there's that number 3 again. Keeps coming up in these Manvantaras. I wonder if it has any special significance in Hindu cosmology.
It's definitely a recurring motif. And in Hinduism, the number 3 often represents the trinity of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, the creator, preserver, and destroyer. Maybe it's a reminder that these divine forces are always interconnected, even across these vast cycles. So who are the Saptarishis guiding this Manvantara? For this period, we have Nirmoha Tattvagrishta, Nishprakampa, Nirutsuka Dhutimanavya, and Sutta. Their names offer some clues about their roles and qualities. Detachment, wisdom, steadfastness, things like that. What about the 14th Manvantara? What can you tell us about the final cycle? The 14th and final Manvantara will be ruled by Manu. The Indra, during his time, will be such, who is known for his purity and righteousness.
Such purity. It seems fitting for the Indra of the final Manvantara, like a sense of culmination and completion. What about the Devas?
There will be 5 groups of devas, the Chakshushas, Pavitas, Kanishtas, Brajaks, and Vajravritas, and they will be guided by the 7 sages, Agnibahu, Shuchi, Shukra, Maga, and Jita.
Wow, we made it. We journeyed through all 14 Manvantaras. It's really incredible to think about the vastness of time and these repeating cycles of existence. I feel like I have a whole new perspective on things. But before we wrap things up, there's one more concept we need to discuss. The Veda Vyasa. You mentioned earlier that he plays a crucial role in these cycles. Can you remind us why?
Yes, Veda Vyasa is a pivotal figure. He appears in each Dvapara Yuga, the third age within a Manvantara, to divide the Vedas.
Right, the ancient Hindu scriptures. But why does he have to divide them?
Well, the text explains that as we move through the Yugas, human intellectual capabilities gradually decline. So Veda Vyasa divides the Vedas to make the knowledge more accessible and understandable to people in later ages.
So he's basically tailoring the wisdom of the Vedas to the changing consciousness of humanity.
Exactly. He's making sure those essential teachings remain relevant throughout these vast cosmic cycles. And there have actually been 28 Veda Vyasas throughout time.
28? Wow, so it's not just one person, it's like a whole lineage of wise beings carrying on this sacred duty. Who are some of these Veda Vyasas?
Well, we have Lord Brahma himself. Then there's Prajapati, Shukracharya, Brihaspati, Surya, Mritu, Indra, Vashishta, Sarasvata. It's a pretty amazing mix of gods, sages, and celestial beings.
It's really incredible that such a diverse group of beings have been entrusted with this task. It really shows how profound wisdom can manifest in so many different forms. So you mentioned that your son, Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa, is the current Veda Vyasa, right?
Yes, he divided the Vedas in our current Dvapara Yuga.
So who's next in line? Who will be the Veda Vyasa in the next Dvapara Yuga?
According to the text, the next Veda Vyasa will be Ashwatthama, the son of Drona.
Ashwatthama. The warrior from the Mahabharata. Wow, okay, that's unexpected. His story is pretty intense, but I guess his destiny includes becoming the next Veda Vyasa. It's amazing how these stories and lineages are all intertwined, weaving this complex tapestry of cosmic history.
It really is a breathtaking vision of the universe and our place in it.
I think we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We've journeyed through billions of years, met Manus Devas and Saptarishis, and explored the fascinating lineage of Veda Vyasas. But before we wrap things up, I'd love to hear your final thoughts. What's the key takeaway you want to leave our listeners with?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that the universe is a vast and mysterious place, and our understanding of time is really limited. These cycles of Manvantaras and Yugas, they remind us that change is inevitable, but there's also an underlying order to the cosmos.
It's like finding that hidden rhythm in the chaos, a sense of predictability in the unpredictable, and that can be really comforting.
Exactly. Our lives might be fleeting, but we're part of something much bigger, something that endures through billions of years. And understanding these cycles can give us a new perspective on the challenges we face in our own lives.
Yeah, because if everything is cyclical, then maybe the difficulties we're experiencing now are just a phase, a natural part of a larger pattern.
That's right. And it's important to remember that even in the darkest of times, there's always the potential for renewal. Just like dawn follows night, a new yuga, a new Manvantara will eventually emerge, bringing new opportunities for growth and enlightenment.
It's a message of hope and resilience. It encourages us to embrace the cyclical nature of life, not just on a personal level, but on a cosmic level.
And it reminds us that even though these cycles operate on these massive timescales, our actions still matter. We're not just passive observers in this cosmic dance. We're active participants shaping the unfolding drama of existence with every thought, word, and deed.
So in a sense, understanding these Manvantaras and Yugas isn't just about acquiring knowledge. It's about empowering ourselves to live more consciously, more intentionally, in alignment with the rhythms of the universe.
Beautifully said. It's about recognizing that we're a part of something so much bigger than ourselves, something that's been unfolding for billions of years. And we have this incredible opportunity to make our own unique contribution to the ongoing dance of creation and dissolution.
Wow, powerful stuff. Well, listeners, as you delve deeper into the Vishnu Purana and other Hindu scriptures, remember this. The universe is this amazing tapestry woven with threads of time creation and divine intervention. And within that tapestry, your own life, your own journey holds a special and irreplaceable significance. Until next time, keep diving deep.
It really is a lot to think about, isn't it? All those Manvantaras and Yugas and Vedavyasas.
Yeah, I feel like we've been on a whirlwind tour of cosmic time.
Billions and billions of years condensed into what feels like minutes.
It really does make you question our whole perception of time, doesn't it?
It definitely challenges our typical linear view, that's for sure. Instead of a straight line, it's more like this grand spiral, a dance of creation and dissolution that just keeps repeating itself.
And repeating on these incredible timescales, it makes you wonder, what's the point of it all? Why should we even care about these cycles of Manvantaras and Yugas? What does it have to do with our lives today?
I think that's the big question, right?
Yeah.
It'd be easy to just brush it off as ancient mythology. But I think there's something deeper here. These cycles, these repeating patterns, they suggest that even though everything is constantly changing, there's still this underlying order to the universe.
Yeah, it's like there's this hidden rhythm beneath all the chaos, a sense of predictability amidst all the unpredictability.
Exactly. And for me, that's actually quite comforting. It suggests that even though our individual lives are so short, we're part of something much bigger, something that's been going on for billions of years.
It's humbling in a way, but also kind of empowering, you
Yeah.
know? We might be just tiny players in this grand cosmic drama, but we're still part of the play.
And knowing about these cycles, understanding the ebb and flow of yugas, it can actually give us a new perspective on the challenges we face in our own lives.
Really? How so?
Well, think about what the Vishnu Purana says about the yugas. It describes this gradual decline in morality and spirituality as we move through the four yugas. That's not meant to be pessimistic or anything. It's more like an acknowledgement that change is inevitable and that cycles of growth and decay are just a natural part of life.
So instead of getting all bummed out about the state of the world, maybe we can see it as part of a larger pattern, a phase in this ongoing cosmic dance.
Exactly. And it reminds us that even when things seem really dark, the potential for renewal is always there. Just like dawn follows night, a new yuga, a new Manvantara will eventually emerge, bringing fresh opportunities for growth and enlightenment.
That's a pretty powerful message of hope, I think. It's like this reminder that we need to embrace the cycles of life, both on a personal level and on this grand cosmic level.
And remember, even though these cycles operate on these incredibly vast time scales, our actions still matter. We're not just sitting back watching this cosmic dance. We're active participants, contributing to it with every choice we make.
So understanding these Manvantaras and Yugas, it's not just about acquiring knowledge, it's about learning to live more consciously, more intentionally, more in tune with the rhythms of the universe.
You got it. It's about recognizing that we're connected to something so much bigger than ourselves, something that's been unfolding for billions of years. And we have this incredible opportunity to play our part in this amazing story.
Well, I think that's a perfect note to end on, don't you? Any final thoughts you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Just this. Take some time to reflect on these cycles, these grand patterns of time and existence. Think about how they might shed light on your own life, your own challenges, and the choices you make each day. The Vishnu Purana offers such a rich and complex vision of the universe, and it invites us to explore not just the outer world, but also our own inner landscapes.
Beautifully said. So listeners, as you continue to delve deeper into the Vishnu Purana and other Hindu scriptures, remember this. The universe is this incredible tapestry woven with threads of time creation and divine intervention. And within that tapestry, your own life, your own journey has a unique and irreplaceable significance. Until next time, keep diving deep.